I'm Christopher Titus. And this is the Armageddon Update. So far in 2025, we've had wildfires burn down Los Angeles in January. And then this week, it snowed in Florida. Feet of snow. And then the guy that tried to end America was sworn in as the leader of America on Martin Luther King Day. Everything is wrong, backwards, and doesn't work. I mean, for God's sakes, did the Matrix get sold to Bank of America?
Thank you for calling Bank of America. Press 1 for the blue pill. Press 2 for the red pill.
Our last day on Earth was Monday. The day after, we started down a road of stupidity, pettiness, and evil that we haven't seen since 8 years ago, when the same bloviating, bankrupt, lying rapist was sworn in as president. The guy who had 1 million Americans die under his watch with his COVID incompetence, well, that same guy, president convicted felon, defiled the Oval Office for a second time on Monday.
Wow.
Then he signed a cadre of executive orders that, would make the Joker stop giggling. He signed executive orders declaring that the border was a national emergency, putting the military on the border. Yes, he actually killed birthright citizenship, which, by the way, people, happens to be enshrined in the Constitution. And President convicted felon's mother happens to be an immigrant. He's first generation. He suspended refugee resettlement, closing the border for asylum seekers, restarting Title 42. Title 42 closes the border to anyone. And he ended the catch and release policy for Mexico because he doesn't want con men, convicts, or rapists in our country. He also stopped all diversity and inclusion policies for the White House. So it actually is the White House now. Boy, I can't say I did not see that. Then he released 1,500 treasonous scumbags who tried to end the government on January 6, 2021. Yeah, you remember that day? Hang Mike Pence! Hang Mike Pence! Remember? We watched as thousands of Trump supporters beat on police with sticks, flags, bear spray, pepper spray, broke the windows of the Capitol, and then decided to wipe shit on the hollowed halls of our Capitol. You know, patriots! Enrique Tarrio, leader of the Proud Boys, and for God's sakes, they fucking are boys. Tarrio, a confused and self-hating Hispanic white supremacist. Is that even a real sentence? And obese Nazi Wilford Brimley and head of the violated My Oath Keepers, Stuart Rhodes, both committed treason and yesterday were pardoned by the guy who planned and set them to commit treason.
To the Capitol!
What world are we living in? These traitor douchebags had been sentenced to 18 and 22 years in prison and were convicted by a jury of seditious conspiracy. Seditious conspiracy is defined as people who conspire to overthrow, put down, or to destroy by force the government of the United States. Traitors! Treasonous scumbags! And President convicted felon just let him out of prison. 1,500 of them. So now, the group of people who sold out their country for a man who's lied about everything, they're free now. And President convicted felon now has his crew of criminals, his own personal Gestapo, his mercenaries.
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
And they're his because he let him out of prison. They owe him. And not only do they owe him, they know that if they attack, hurt, destroy, or even kill someone for President convicted felon, they get his get out of jail free card. It's week 1. Good game, idiots. I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. I don't even know why I'm laughing. I just heard myself sound insane. So basically, the guys that committed treason for the guy who planned the treason, we elected that guy president again, and then he let out the guys who committed treason for him out of prison, even though they committed treason. I don't even know what we're doing. Hey everybody, Christopher Titus Podcast. How are you doing? With me as always, the lovely and amazing Bombshell Ray.
What's up, people?
And the lovely and amazing Highlander.
There could be only one.
Yeah, so we are in week one of as I said the other night on stage. I walked on stage in Boston, and I just said, "Well, welcome to the last night on Earth." And instantly they burst out laughing because they knew the next day he was taken. It's so funny that there is a vibe that we all know and none of us understand it. Like I did not run into a whole lot of people that were like, "Fuck you, man." Now last time I ran into a lot of people like, "Fuck you, man, he's my president." These people were like, "Ha, holy shit." Like everybody seems to have this thing. As I said before on this podcast, we did not know how this was going to go. And last time we had no concept of how bad it was going to get. This is now the third day of his presidency. And as you saw in the Armageddon update, he has released 1,500 treasonous scumbags from prison. So he now has his own 1,500 person militia that he can run, and who also know that whatever they do, they are going to be pardoned again because he has the pardon power.
Arkham Asylum, the doors just opened up.
Basically, they're like, everybody, just go. Nah, it's all right. It's all right. No, here's a gun for you. Here's a gun for you. Here's a gun for you.
Exactly.
Oh, what about did you mention that in the update about the shaman who
I didn't know.
I'm going to go get some motherfucking guns.
He goes, "What's the first thing you're going to do?" They said, well, the craziest guy there, the guy who dressed as basically, he looked like from the Grand Poobah from the Water Buffaloes from the Flintstones. That's exactly what I was thinking. And he was screaming, shirtless, and they let him out of prison. And he said, "What first thing I'm going to do is go get some motherfucking guns."
Do you remember this was also the guy whose mommy was requesting if he could have organic?
He had to have organic food in prison.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So even his mom is...
No, he's who he is because of his mom. Let's be clear. So here's where we are, people. He has released 1,500 criminals, flat out scumbag criminals who, by the way, there was no deep state. There was a jury that looked at the evidence and the video of them hurting, beating, and bear spraying police officers and convicted them.
Hey guys, also, like, there was a dude that pled guilty that
a lot of dudes,
a lot of them,
a cop directly pled guilty to assaulting a police officer, said, "You know what? I did that," and pled out, and he's been let out.
Was anyone held accountable for Sicknick's death?
Yes.
No. Well,
somebody else? Sicknick. No, I was thinking Fanone.
Called into, was it CNN today? Hey, we've got a police officer from the January 6th riots, Fanone on the line. What would you like to say about this? And he goes, I just want to tell Donald Trump what do you say with these people that have said something about you? He goes to Stuart Rhodes, and he goes, "I would like to tell him to fuck off." And he said it, and you see the girl on CNN just go, "Ha ha, we have lost all."
It actually came out.
He said it. It was full out on air. They didn't have time to bleep it.
This is unprecedented. Like, we can't look back in history and go, okay, so there's a period with Caligula, okay, even Hitler.
Yeah.
Like,
but that was right before, Caligula was right before everything Rome fell. Right before everything went to shit. We are there.
Yeah.
I told Ray a long time ago, I said the economy is going to die right around 2028, and I think I may have overestimated.
Oh, you're giving it way too much time.
There's stuff coming right now. Like, he jumped on I didn't think he would jump on the bandwagon this fast. I thought he would golf for 2 weeks. I didn't realize day one he was going to sign so many executive orders. He signed one blanket. Did you guys know this? He signed one blanket executive order that basically kills every executive order Biden signed. It says every executive order President Biden signed is now null and void.
He's so petty. He's
seriously,
so small.
Seriously. Didn't he resign?
So wait, it's not about the people or
what he did for
the
people.
Good
Right.
or
No.
the bad or any.
No.
It's just about reversing Biden. I mean, he's so small.
But it's also bullshit. Some of it's for show because he like re-signed one that Biden signed. Like, it was just like
it has
like a
to
bullshit
be his.
one.
It has to be his.
Oh
no,
my God.
Are you kidding me? He took it out and then re-signed it. Oh,
and
you
like re-signed it. We have to
Can you
find
look
out
up?
which one that is.
There's people have done lists.
There's so many.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about so this is the Republican Party for 1,000 years. for 1,000 years,
There's springs and steam coming out of our ears.
has decided that they were the law and order party. Every candidate in the Republican Party for as long as I can remember has run on, we are the law and order party. The Democrats let crime go crazy.
Yep.
He just released 1,500 felons. And I get it. He identifies with them because he's one.
But they directly attacked police.
Right. Well, they said
With their own flag.
So we'll put that video in, but he said this. Someone asked him that. They go, so do you think that anybody attacked police officers or committed violence against police officers, they should be let out of prison? And he goes, no, I don't think so. And he goes, well, you just pardoned, and he listed a name. He said a name of a guy who basically is in jail for 4 years or 8 years because he attacked a police officer. And he goes, wait.
He goes, well, are we talking about pardons or commutations?
And he goes,
which one? Because we did both.
He goes, pardons.
I
Here's
just
his
said
answer.
pardon.
Here's his answer. And she pointed this out. She's been saying this about this guy. She's got such a good psychological insight to people. And he just goes, by the way, murderers get released every day. No, murderers don't get charged every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck are you talking about? Murderers get charged every day. What? So he just out of the blue, he released the guy who beat the shit out of a cop and was put in prison for it for years. And then he said his cover was, well, people get released for murder all the time.
But that's not what I
But
so when the guy says, he's asking about he's very specific about the pardon for this very specific person.
Yep.
His first response is, well, are we talking about pardons or commutations? Because we did both. He's just buying himself time.
Exactly.
I just said pardon.
Yeah.
I didn't ask about commutations. I asked very specifically, but he buys himself time. Then he thinks of a deflection, and
if he even lands on the answer, he'll sometimes go with just some
Total
on immigration or something.
Yeah.
Well, the economy's gonna do better because we're gonna drill
clean air.
I asked about
or
pardons.
Drill, baby, drill. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he also killed that. One of the executive orders, he killed all. Executive order to kill all subsidies for electric cars and for solar.
So for Tesla?
That's the weird part, is that what does that mean?
Well,
Tesla's already sold too many cars, so it only went to 200,000 cars. Tesla has sold so many cars, they don't have it anymore.
Suspend U.S. participation in the global tax deal, which is an international agreement that's intended to set a minimum corporate tax globally to prevent multinational corporations from avoiding taxation.
So basically, rich people get to keep their money again. Also, he pulled out of the Paris Climate Accords again. Now, I want to say that I totally get that. There's no evidence of climate change except that it snowed in Panama, Florida yesterday. Oh, and we had the worst Panama City. And we basically had the worst fires we've ever had in January.
Hey, it snowed in New Orleans.
It snowed in New Orleans. So you're right. Everything's fine.
He said that climate change is a Chinese hoax. Hold on. China is the biggest polluter on the planet
of all times.
Yet
so they would start climate change. They would say, hey, there's a problem with the planet, as they're pumping thousands and thousands of tons of CO2 in the air.
The smog in Beijing is
bad.
Is like 70s LA. Like they're filming Starsky and Hutch and episodes of Chips.
What people don't understand, and I want to point this out, when people say, so here's the problem. We don't have as much pollution as we used to have.
Yes.
So in the 30s and 40s, go look it up. There's pictures of Los Angeles that looks like the whole place is on fire because you can't see.
Yeah.
When I was a kid with my mom and I would go to school, at the end of the day, if we played a recess, my lungs would sting. Right. I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember days when then they had smog days in the 70s, and then the California Air Resource Board got involved, and we started changing our emissions laws. Well, once we change our emission laws, you look at LA now, except for when the fires happen, we've forgotten.
You could oh shit, there's mountains over there. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Like it used to be, everything was blocked.
Yeah. Yes.
So progress was made.
So progress was made. California had much more clean air. And even the LA basin the Indians called it the Valley of Smoke. Yeah. Because the way the wind comes up over the hills, it goes right across and it just seals.
Because the wagons didn't have catalytic converters on them.
They
were really pumping out a lot.
Well, they were burning the native people. And that was part of the problem.
Wasn't the peyote?
Yeah, it wasn't that. So we've proven that you can change it. The hole in the ozone, they CFCs, they actually cut the CFCs. We had a hole in the ozone that was caused by fluorohydrocarbons,
His hairspray.
hairspray and stuff. And the hole in the ozone has closed up now. They killed that in the late 70s, and the hole in the ozone has closed up. This shit works. But it's okay for but when you got a 78-year-old man who doesn't give a flying fuck about anybody but himself, he sure as hell not thinking about his grandkids. He sure as hell not thinking about Barron's kids, Barron's kids.
Yep.
He doesn't give a shit.
So one of them was the windmills thing. So
Cause cancer. Windmills cause cancer. Said it out loud.
This is all clearly just because they want to just loot, on their way out.
It's kind of amazing, some of the stuff that
It
he
is.
signed in a really sick
Let's go down
way.
them one by one.
Oh, there's so many, though.
And we'll riff in a funny
I'm
way.
sure it's going to be hilarious. He got out his little Sharpie and he started with immigration and borders. He designated an invasion across the southern border of the United States, which triggers executive branch powers. So his cabinet shall take appropriate action to repel, repatriate, or remove any alien engaged in the invasion.
Now, can you do me a favor, open up another tab and see where immigration was at the end of the Biden administration? Because what I read was that the Biden administration, and in 21, 22, and 23, it was a problem. In 24, they got dead serious, and they actually exported. What was I going to say?
Deleted.
They
Subtracted.
exited from the Americas.
Ejected.
They exited from the North America more people than the Trump administration did.
That sounds like that might be the one that he just kind of re-signed. Like it was a Biden executive order.
Well, Biden tried to keep 42. Let's just be honest. If Biden tried to keep whatever that 42 thing, he tried to keep it.
Title 42.
Title 42.
Yeah.
He tried to keep Title 42 because
No, it got shut down, yeah.
yeah, but it got shut down by the courts, which is weird. So the courts said it was the Supreme Court that
And the
Trump
CDC.
put in, and the CDC. Yeah, they were trying to do it because of COVID. They were continuing to use the COVID. We can't let people in the country because they may have disease, blah, blah, blah. And now, so he reinstated Title 42 after his Supreme Court said Biden couldn't have it.
U.S. deportations under Biden surpassed Trump's record as of December 20th, 24.
Who gives you the facts, people? Don't listen to MSNBC. You come here to the Titus podcast.
Immigration authorities deported the largest number of undocumented immigrants in nearly a decade, surpassing Donald Trump's first term in office. More than 271,000 immigrants deported from the U.S. over that last fiscal year, which was according to a report put out by ICE.
So ICE put out, it wasn't some woke,
It wasn't
liberal
Biden's numbers.
It wasn't Biden's numbers. It was ICE. So he now put out, so the last year of Biden's presidency, and I read this during the election knowing this was true, and I tweeted it out, I threaded it out, I let everybody know about it, and nobody would, man, you guys don't even know what we're in for. And if these first 3 days give you a hint, he's not going to stop tomorrow. It's going to keep going. We have 4 years of nightmare coming, and it's already started. But you know what? I'm a white male. You're a white male. You're a white female. Well, you had your rights taken away. Sorry. But I'm good.
We're
good.
We're woke.
You guys
So
are
we're
fine.
out too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And we've been tearing him a new
You'll just be
orange
eating
asshole.
your soy boys.
Oh, soy boys.
Yeah. It's
Well, I don't
so
like soy.
boring.
I'll
They're
put-
so bad at humor
I'll put soy boys up against the Proud Boys and
insults.
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually when ICE released that report, they noted that more deportation flights went to further away destinations, including Africa and Asia, which was negotiated under Biden because those countries had not accepted our deportations for years, which is it's kind of fun. It's like,
Which means-
what's that show where they send a bunch of white people all over the world and they
Survivor.
have to do dumb stuff and
the Great Race.
the Great Race.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what this is like. Immigrant
now-
Great Race.
And now in the White House, we have the Great Racists,
Hey.
which is awesome.
I
Same
feel
thing.
like you drop them off in Africa and they get back. You can
You
say,
At one point, you go,
yeah,
you know what? Here.
yeah. No money, no resources. You get dropped off and you get across that much water. You're in. You deserve to be a citizen.
We want you here because you are a hard worker.
Much better than Stuart Rhodes, who shot his own eye out.
Yeah, shot his own eye. Yeah, so the guy, Stuart Rhodes, by the way, I watched him today and I thought, how did you stay that fat in prison? How did you continue to be obese in prison? Did they chop off a foot while you were in there, man? Because God, dude.
He ate his other eyeball.
He signed something allowing U.S. military service members to act as immigration and border enforcement officers.
Which is actually against we're not supposed to be on the border. Our military is not supposed to be on the border.
Well, the military is not trained to be law enforcement.
Right. They're not law enforcement.
They're military police trained. That is all under his mass deportation program.
So I just want to point something out. I want to point out, guys, he's going to put military on the border for a border that President Biden actually sent more people out of our country in the last 10 years without using the military. Right. So Biden did the best has been done in 10 years. And yet Trump needs to send the military. This small.
So actually there was an act in 1878, the Posse Comitatus.
Yeah, Posse Comitatus. Yeah.
Comitatus. It sounds like something my grandma would make in the South for Sunday dinner.
Also sounds like
Posse Comitatus.
That sounds like a rapper's name too. Yo, what's up, Posse Comitatus on the mic? Yes, it does. Okay, I think you're wrong.
It's like a French rapper, maybe?
Yeah. I know, we were both
Hello, Posse Comitatus.
Okay.
Give me a bit.
It covered the Ready Reserve and National Guard military property that could be used as detention space. Also covered ground and air transport vehicles and other logistics services in support of civilian-controlled law enforcement operations. That Posse Comitatus Act historically has limited the use of military in law enforcement actions.
I think so. They probably, when my dad was fought in the Watts riots. It was in he fought in the Watts riots. Right. That's what I said. Basically, he made sure the liquor stores were protected.
He was
and by the way, he first in, last out is a joke I did.
I forgot about that.
Lone guard.
So you'll notice in all of these that he's elevating things to designating an invasion. Yep. He's elevated, he said migrant flow is a national security threat, which he says justifies military orders as commander-in-chief. So it's all that same stuff of you saying 4 years ago that he was going to invoke the Insurrection Act, giving himself unlimited powers.
Yeah,
the problem he had was, do you remember when he built the walls around the White House, when he actually put walls up, concrete walls around the White House? Because he was such a pussy.
Yes.
We looked. I remember looking at it, and the weird thing was that what happened. I think that happened in the last year, and Biden took him down so fast we forgot about it. Like imagine we forgot that he had done. Remember how fast they came down?
And there was a point where he was in the White House basement.
He was in the White House basement because there was protests outside the White House, and then that was
people were advancing. They were mad.
Well, it's in the Constitution. We are actually have the right to take down our government if their government doesn't serve the people. It's actually in the Constitution.
It's so political theater because it's definitely a shock and awe thing because this all creates fear and chaos in everybody. Oh, I'm going to put the military down there. We're going to put walls up. Even if he's like, okay, say maybe he's a little afraid to get attacked, but he's putting a wall up to give this image of intense danger and fear of going on. So it's more of a power and control move for him.
Do you know
a military state?
Yes.
Do you know what I'm getting though? People aren't afraid. Yeah, I wrote something about it. It's like, you know that feeling before the fight starts when you realize this could hurt. I'm going to get in a fight.
Yeah.
Like this is going to suck.
Yeah.
And then there's that. Then you get hit, or you realize the fight started, and that all goes away, and it becomes okay, full out. I don't give a shit what happens to me, but I'm trying to save my life.
Yeah.
I think had this been the first term, we would have that fear. I think we had that the first time, but because this is the second term and we know what a douchebag he was the first time, I don't give a fuck.
We're at DEFCON 2.
We are at a level where like, I guess this is going down. I guess this is happening.
Stopped refugee arrivals and suspended the U.S. refugee admission program.
Stopped asylum. You can't, which is another thing enshrined in the Constitution.
Redefined birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment.
So people, do you guys know what birthright citizenship is? It means if you were born here, you are an American citizen. And the reason that was because when we started this country, there was nobody here. Now, how scared are you mediocre white people that you actually believe that somebody who was born here, whose parents struggled to get here from the lowest level of economic viability, and you are worried about them? What must you have fucked up in your life? What loser shit have you done that you don't have a job, that you worried about some dude who came across the border carrying 2 plastic bags from a supermarket with all this stuff in it and a kid, and you think that guy's going to take your job away?
Aren't you impressed
I don't
by that?
get it.
And be like, we need you, whatever, you've got going on,
That's
bring
what I
that
said.
here.
I was saying that the immigrants bring in, it's in my new show, immigrants bring in $7 trillion to the economy every decade.
And they don't take taxes.
And a trillion in taxes. So I said, build a wall. We need to build a train.
Yeah.
And then when the train goes back to pick up a new group, we got to put every insurrection goatee wearing person who doesn't know what a tariff is in that train. Yeah, when you figure it out, come back. But until then,
that should be it. Like,
I'm
there should be a
tired.
test.
By the way, I feel bad for Ray because Ray's already started. She already said it the other night. She goes, "You're doing it again." Yeah, I'm doing it again because this is not. Listen, we've seen what happened throughout history when the population does this. Well, I'm just not going to watch it. What happens is Germany in 1930s.
They're counting on it.
That's what they're counting on.
Apathy.
They're not just apathy. They're tired.
Compliance.
But what's exhaustion? It's disaster exhaustion. We're just exhausted.
Everybody's just worn down.
Yeah.
Tired.
So, but that's when you step up
That's why they're using a flood the zone thing. That's why he signs 100 fucking plus.
because you can't keep up with it.
You can't keep up with it.
We're trying to. Go
on
ahead.
purpose.
What's the
Which we
next one?
said then. You couldn't. We couldn't. We're surprised when we remember things because there was some new crazy thing every day. It wasn't like little things.
And now it's started again.
So that birthright citizenship, it also forbids U.S. agencies from issuing documents recognizing a child as a citizen or accepting any state document, which he's trying to chop California off.
Can we point something out that Trump's mother came from Scotland? I'm not talking his grandmother. I'm not talking his great grandmother. His mother, which means Donald Trump is first generation. His grandfather came here first. So his father was born here, but his grandfather wasn't. So his father got birthright citizenship because his dad wasn't a citizen yet. So his father got it. His mother came, she had a visa. Trump is what first generation American. I'm 10th generation American. He's first.
It's Northern European, though. So that gets a fast track
right. Pasty.
to
That's
here.
right.
That's okay. That's approved.
Prioritize continued construction of a wall and other barriers along the U.S.-Mexico border.
Because that works so well.
Mm-hmm.
Like buoys with blades on them?
That's what I was just
yeah,
thinking.
yeah.
When they put other barriers, they didn't say what, but yes, I would bet it's those things that are being questioned for their legality and constitutionality.
And horror. By the way, so I don't know if you guys know this because you guys don't pay attention like we do. You come here to hear what's going on. Well, during the last part of the Trump administration, they put these giant round buoys out in the rivers in Texas. And in the middle of the buoys were these giant saw blades. So if you tried to climb over and get them, you fell on them and you got sliced open. That's what we're doing to people that just want to come here for a better life in a country that was built by people that just wanted to come here for a better life. This guy wants to go in. He's already threatening Greenland to where the head of Denmark got up in front and said, let me put it in, it has been part of Denmark for 800 years. Greenland's been part of Denmark for 800 years. So let me put it in simpler terms for you, Mr. President Trump.
That you'll understand.
Fuck off.
No.
And then he got busted in Parliament. He's like, hey. One of the guys goes, hey, man, we don't need to go bow to their level, basically. But here's the problem. This goes back to Michelle Obama, who I love dearly and I think is amazing. When they go low, we go high is not working and will not. And I don't mean we need to go low, but we need to get, sometimes you got to get serious and you can't keep honoring norms when they don't. You can't go look at us honoring the norms as we totally lose our country and it's in flames.
Exactly. Speaking of Michelle Obama and some of the baddest ass biceps to ever enter the White House, this episode brought to you by Fitbod. Fitbod right now, actually, our advertisers today all go together. So if you pay attention, you could totally achieve your
'Cause
New
we're
Year's
about you being better.
resolutions if you just did these three advertisers today. Fitbod is basically like you have a personal trainer in your pocket, which sounds grosser than I thought it would when I said it out loud. It's like you can.
No, it doesn't. You're making it weird. You have
Well,
a
it
personal
depends
trainer.
on which pocket.
You have a personal trainer in your pocket. I take it out last night. Let's go. Last night I had legs.
You
so
took what out?
my phone
Oh,
and the person, which was a personal trainer,
in your pocket.
in my pocket.
You have two little boxing gloves.
Yeah. Pocket
Boxing
trainer
balls.
sounds weird. Pocket trainer sounds really
Okay.
weird. That sounds weird.
Okay.
A personal trainer in your pocket sounds okay. So I got Fitbod. It's how much is it now? $79 a year.
It was $79.99. Let's see. I don't want to say that.
Yeah,
You
we'll see if
always
they-
do this, and
if they
then,
update-
and then I get
Well,
in trouble when there's
you're-
incorrect.
You never get in trouble. You're perfect, princess.
It's oh my gosh.
You
oh
are.
My gosh.
Look at how cute you look today with your little jacket on.
Oh,
There's no sarcasm at all in this.
I'm not at all.
$79.99 per year or $12.99 per month. Except we're going to tell you how to get 25% off of that.
So I'm gonna do a commercial just
on
based on
average
what I
$60 for the entire year.
for the entire year. So if you just use our code 6, but now, and here's what you get. And I have now. I asked her. I displayed Fitbod's wares today.
You did.
We were talking about being in shape, and I was saying, look, I've spent 2 years now on this program. Now, does that sound like a long time? Here's what I learned by Fitbod. First of all, I have something that kind of keeps me responsible. I have this thing where I go, and let's say I want to work. So on Tuesday, I got off the plane on Monday. On Tuesday, I did chest and buys and abs. All I do is put that into my thing. It gives me a 10 superset, 10 exercise workout in supersets. You get through it. Then it actually tells me what my record was, how many calories I burned, the time it took me to do it. And then it's
That's
rating
crazy.
me. It's rating that I'm like, let's say when I started, I was doing 25s, curling 25s for 15. Now I'm doing 35s for 15, which is a
That's a good
huge,
jump.
that's a
That's
big
a serious
jump, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so my body fat is down. My body fat when I started was around 24%. Now it's down to 18%. I have some abs coming through. They're like, they're trying. They're like, damn you, Christmas. And everything has changed to the point where I was doing legs last night. So last night was my leg day. I was doing switch curls, lunges.
I prefer your made up names.
So
Did you just say switch curls?
Switch lunges. Sorry.
Okay.
What do you call them?
Alternating lunges.
Alternating lunges. See, I made it. So I'm an editor. I make it
Or-
down.
Means
So-
switching.
Front lunges, depending on which
so
direction.
I
you're
remember
going.
when I started, I would do those, and I would do 10, and I would have to stop to do the other 2. Now I without stopping all 3 sets, I did 15 and didn't even really blink. It was crazy, and I was like, and I realized that over the years of doing it and being consistent with it, I have become stronger. Now, I'm getting older. You're getting older. What's going to happen is you're going to get to a place where you can either work out and build muscle because that tissue protects your bones, or you don't do that. And then the first time you fall, you break your hip, which makes you less mobile, which makes you less active, which promotes less muscle, and then you die sooner. So what I'm going to say is get Fitbod right now. My mind is better. Ask Ray. My mind is better. I am calmer. Come on, I am. I'm a lot, and I'm happier about my general life. You're not helping me at all. And I feel better. My
it's
back
actually
is stronger.
designed to build on
My
your
back is
progress,
strong.
so that it is intentional in how it started you with those lower weights and lower rep count, and now you're at this.
Right.
It's intentional to help you get over each plateau and grow you in different ways. So pretty amazing.
And by the way, I've only covered like 10% of the features. It's
I
pretty
know.
nuts.
That's what we could talk about this one forever. You can level up your workout by joining Fitbod today, and you'll get your own personalized workout plan. You can get 25% off of that subscription that we talked about, or you can just try the app for free for 7 days at fitbod.me/Titus. That's fitbod.me/Titus. Try it for 7 days and then
One of my favorite things
tell
about
him
it
what
is,
you think about it.
so I remember when I would go to the gym, I would have to get up, I'd have to get ready, I'd have to get in my car, I'd have to drive. I had a trainer that worked with me. So just that whole getting ready shit was like, oh God.
Already done.
Then I'd go into the gym, and then I got that whatever intimidation that is about that. And then I would go deal with the trainer, and then an hour, and then I have to leave. Then I have to get cleaned up. Now I'm at home. I grab my Fitbod, I put it in, I go work out, I get in the shower, I'm out. I'm done.
You don't feel like you have to spray down all the equipment so you just don't get some
I still
fungus.
do.
Or deal
But
with dudes leaning on the machines on their phone.
Yeah.
Like,
Or filming you while you're working out.
Okay, so he directed the Attorney General and Homeland Security Secretary to create a Homeland Security task force in all 50 states, using state and local law enforcement charged with, quote, ending the presence of criminal cartels, foreign gangs, and transnational criminal organizations.
We
You
already
see
have
how
that. It's called the FBI.
vague that is? Oh, no, he's going to defund
We
the
already
FBI.
have the FBI. We actually have the CIA. We have that already. We have that.
So
By the
that
way,
one's maybe that
by
was-
the way, in the States, it's called the police. We fucking have this to eliminate
ATF.
criminal gangs.
He's also going to give the Homeland Security Secretary wide latitude to establish new agreements with individual state and local law enforcement agencies to the maximum extent that would empower those non-federal officials to act as federal immigration officers.
So wait, hold on. I thought it was all separation of church and of federal and state. I thought it was separation.
Yeah.
It's a states' rights. So he's saying now you can sign up to let the federal government come into your state and do what they want.
This one might get held up in court. This is one of
Holy
those.
shit!
He's going to require collection of DNA samples and fingerprints from all immigration detainees. He's going to forbid catch and release, which allows some migrants to remain in the U.S. while awaiting their immigration court proceedings.
Good job, idiots. Good job.
So
Good game,
the
idiots.
catch and release, although certainly is problematic, is supposed to only allow non-violent offenders to stay. But obviously that's a flawed program.
It's weird.
I think the catch and release program, my opinion of it is, listen, if you're coming to America, great. We are a nation built on immigration. We are all immigrants. If you're this color, you weren't here. Your fucking people came from somewhere else. Be clear. But if you come to this country and you want that opportunity, you can at least not commit a crime, even if it's a misdemeanor. I get it. But but then again, a misdemeanor based on what? The catch and release seems to be. There was a point we have someone we knew was working for Border Patrol, and they would stop somebody, and they were told that even if they were criminals, they couldn't detain them. They had to release them, and that bugs me a lot because if it's an American citizen who committed a crime, they're grabbing them.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the part that bugs me a little bit. Listen, we don't have a perfect system. This guy is going to rat it. But another thing you're going to understand with the Titus podcast, we're not woke liberal libtards.
Yeah.
We are actually very pragmatic about what we believe and what we know. This man doesn't even know the Constitution. This man doesn't even know the laws of our country. This man doesn't know the history of our country because his family wasn't in our country.
Yep. Direct Homeland Security to immediately devote resources and secure contractors to construct, this one's kind of chilling if you really listen, construct, operate, control, and use facilities to detain removable aliens. Do you hear how vague all of this is?
He took that directly from Nazi Germany.
Yes, yes.
that's like, we will be building pizza ovens to people.
Exactly. That's what it's saying, to build camps.
Build camps.
Yes.
Where's that in Mein Kampf? That's somewhere. What page is that on?
I'm
the
sure
pizza
he
oven
knows.
page? Yes.
And parole
Jesus Christ.
programs that are referred to as family reunification that allows family members of certain citizens and permanent resident immigrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela to come to the U.S. while their visa applications are pending.
I was wondering why
He stopped it, right? Totally stopped
This is, we're all still in border and immigration stuff. Yeah.
I'm getting randomly saluted here in North Hollywood. Like wherever, like if I'm walking down the
Are
street.
you kidding?
See, here's the problem. We believe it in North Hollywood.
No, I posted.
You should have picked Beverly Hills.
By the way, let
something.
me be clear. This is how crazy it's getting. So yesterday I put something on Threads, and follow me on Threads. By the way, it's Titus Nation. I put this. Is what I put. I put after because did you see this priest, this woman priest, get up the other day and basically called his ass out in front of him and said and flat out said, President Trump, you need to be nice to people. But he basically
She was being an actual Christian.
She was actually being a Christian. I put breaking news. President Trump reorders the legality of crucifixions. He says God told me if it was good enough for Jesus. after priest calls him out in public in church, Donald Trump orders the legality of crucifixions, and people are like, some guy literally people are like, dude, cite me, tell me, show me this article.
Oh my gosh.
They were like,
Holy shit.
and then one person put, hey man, I for a second I thought, oh no.
But that's the world we live in, right?
It's so crazy that people are like when people are like, is that a joke? And it's the most obvious joke. we're
It's
fucked.
like making a joke on this street corner about being shot. No one would laugh.
Yeah.
They'd be like,
I was on the way to the
what?
studio and I got shot. No, Clumsy got shot.
Yeah. Well, several people.
That's
have
true.
been
Not just
shot
Clumsy.
Right
Clumsy
out
just
there.
was
I
the-
believe 3 is the number,
Clumsy
and
was
one
just the one-
kidnapping.
They turned the transformer into a shrine.
They did.
It's a
did
beautiful-
It's a beautiful
It's
transformer.
also a Bed Bath and Beyond now.
I want to be remembered, but with spray cans on a electrical transformer. That's how I want That's why I want my memory to live.
Well, they tried it on several other things, and it kept
Also
getting
on the
painted
gate.
over. The gate, I
sliding
thought
gate.
that was poignant,
Yeah.
where it would.
It wasn't
R.I.P.
done very well.
Clumsy, and it would
Honorable.
open
Please do not
close.
use spray paint to misspell your rest in peace.
Like on this gate, they're trying to make those.
PIECE. Rest in peace.
Pieces. Rest in pieces. Require a review of all temporary protected status cases. So it's also vague, just with the intent to ensure that it was appropriate.
So he can do whatever
Yes,
he wants.
exactly.
You know, if you're not specific with it, then you can
interpret it however.
You can interpret the law how you want, right?
Yes.
Holy shit, man. We're so fucked.
Repeal the Biden order that requires planning for the effects of climate change on world migration patterns.
Climate change. That's a hoax.
Oh yeah, we're not even to that section yet.
Dead birds under the windmills. There's piles of dead birds.
Direct the State Department, Homeland Security, and others to review and recommend changes for vetting visas and produce a report to the president within 60 days.
Isn't it funny that the man who the only reason he's here is because, do you know his grandfather, by the way, came here, tried to go back, and they told him he couldn't because he had bailed out of the war. He wouldn't do military service.
He was a
So
criminal.
they made him, he was a criminal. So they made him come back to America. He gave birth to Fred Trump. Then his mother came over from Scotland. He's literally the man who the only reason he is fucking in this country is because of immigration, is trying to kill immigration.
There's more. I'm skipping some of
Keep
them.
going. Yeah.
Direct, this one is scary, the Attorney General and others to deny federal money to so-called sanctuary cities that the administration views as interfering with federal immigration enforcement.
It's so funny. He's spending so much effort on the immigration when he ran on the economy. That was like the number one issue for everybody.
Yeah, I can't do that now.
He already
And
said,
now-
Eggs are expensive.
he already
sorry.
said that. He said once prices go up, you can't. It's hard to bring them down.
Right, but this immigration thing is going to cause inflation to go up.
Everything. Yeah.
They
Because
don't
we're going to lose.
understand
We're
that.
going.
Yeah. As I say in my new show,
Why are you-
it's
Why
always
do you still try?
it's always
fucking-
somebody eating a strawberry. I hate these immigrants. Hey, how's that strawberry, bro?
As
Is it good?
immigrant gave it to you.
Yeah. So
Who the hell do you think is going to rebuild LA after they get these fires
Mel
out?
Gibson.
Well,
There's
but-
a new, Mel
Wow,
Gibson's
Mel
lair
Gibson
burned down already.
Mel
so
Gibson has lost his
Yes.
mind
What
far
happened to
beyond
him?
what I thought.
what did he do now?
Didn't you see the interview on Fox?
I have stopped watching the news, as you know.
Wow. He goes, Laura Ingraham goes, well, do you have any message for Gavin Newsom? And he goes, first of all, I don't know what he's on.
Start a timer.
But,
Go ahead.
but I don't know if he is on anything or he's just, his mind is glitching.
Yeah.
Because he just went,
Oh. Is he
stop
smoking?
using so much hair gel. That's it.
That's all he said.
That's all he said.
to
You have to
Gavin
watch-
Newsom.
We put a clip of it in the new Armageddon update. You should watch Armageddon update because I work really hard on those. And
This
maybe,
week?
yeah,
You haven't done it yet.
we work
Hey,
really.
we work really hard on those units.
No, the one
How-
we just did.
I
put
know-
the,
I know last
the
week's.
fires.
Oh, I didn't see last
This
week.
was a softball.
No, but I really work hard, and so does
I
she, and
usually
so
watch
does she.
them, but I
Okay,
didn't like
all right.
you last week, so I didn't.
I didn't
watch
like
it.
you either, but I
Well,
love you now.
mutual.
Today you're
Now you
awesome.
can watch it.
Hey,
It's a good one.
I love you. Today.
No, I can watch it.
I love you today.
I was otherwise I
I
would
love
have
you
thumbs
today so much.
downed it.
I love you today so much.
Brah, brah,
I love you
brah.
today
You
so much.
subtracted our
You
views.
suck. I love you so much too. But
many-
last week,
Ow, that hurt. That
You
that
suck.
stung.
loser.
You don't know shit about politics. Signed your wife. Wait a minute.
I think I know who the AI bot is. It's you. You troll.
She started a new YouTube account on
Yes.
her own so she could just comment because she was so mad at us. It
One.
was a
20.
It was a
Try
rough.
20.
It was a rough week.
Anyway, the question was a softball question where she lobbed it to him.
Yeah.
Like he could have just dropped the hammer
Right.
on news. Say what you want to say against these libs. And he had nothing. And he was just like, he just fucking spazzed out.
But it's
Drugs?
It was
Same
weird.
drugs
Yeah.
that Elon
What-
was on.
I
at
will,
the
I will say this:
inauguration?
if my house
Did you
burned
see
down, I
that?
may be a little high. If my house burns down, I lose everything.
You
I may
guys need to
drink
go
and-
watch Elon, that clip of him,
Let's
put
put it.
in-
We're gonna. So here's the thing.
Elon high or something. He
Mhm.
is very clearly, something is hitting him in this moment during the inauguration.
Speech. Yeah.
And he starts tweaking.
He goes like
alone.
this. He's sitting there and he goes.
Ooh.
Yeah, by himself,
Oh,
just
boy.
doing that.
Is
It
he
was-
using his own
Well,
implant?
they were in.
Yes.
They
The
were
brain thing?
in the Capitol Rotunda, so he was looking up at it and just.
He
But
got
it wasn't like
distracted. Squirrel.
wow. It was like
He tweaked hard. It was like crazy.
he tweaked hard. But that's not. And here's the thing. That's not the worst thing he did this last week. That is not even close to the worst thing he did last week. People,
Freudian
we're-
gesture.
Okay, we're going to put it right here. Now, some of the news called it an awkward gesture. Well,
Well, it was awkward.
it was definitely awkward. But in 1935, they called it the Heil Hitler. If you look what he just did, put it here again. That is not an awkward gesture. An awkward gesture is, hey, sorry, I was going to shake your hand. Oh, hey, you know what? Here, you go to give me a fist bump. Okay.
Okay.
And I high five it. That's
Uh-huh.
an awkward
That's awkward.
gesture.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awkward.
That's rock, paper, scissors.
And
That's
I've done that before.
Yes.
What I've never done is ever in my life.
And then done it again.
And then
in
turned
case
around.
anyone wondered.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, if you weren't sure I just did the Heil Hitler, I'm going to do it again on the backside so you can see it from all angles. So we've got a guy from, no surprising, a guy from South Africa is a racist. That's fine. But
It's not fine.
I mean, it's not fine, but we get it. I go, yeah, of course I accept that. Oh, you're a
I don't
racist.
get it.
Got it.
Those
if it-
are his opinions.
if it was
I don't get it and I think it's right. I get it that I get that Elon Musk now has been lying to us from day fucking
Yes.
one.
I know.
He
and
has
that's
told
so
us about
disappointing.
climate change. He told us about Mars. We're never going to Mars. Do you know that? We're never going to Mars. He's going to get $1 trillion from the government to get there.
Yeah.
We're never going to Mars. It's almost impossible. And we can't.
I think that he and Trump, you and I have predicted that it's going to be
Very bad.
pretty gnarly fallout. But already there's a little bit of back and forth. Like in some of these executive orders, he kneecaps
Electric cars.
electric cars.
Mhm.
And then today, Elon bashed the new $500 billion AI project that Trump announced yesterday, claiming that its backers don't have the money. So Trump announces this huge
said-
AI infrastructure plan that he's working with all of the people wearing knee pads now,
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Bezos and
yeah.
everybody. They're calling him First Buddy, Elon. He's the First Buddy. Elon wrote on X, they don't actually have the money. SoftBank has well under $10 billion secured, and I have that on good authority.
he's jealous.
But do you understand what game we're playing in America right now? They only have 10 billion. Ah!
Yeah.
And we're like, oh yeah, they only got 10. What are they going to do with that?
Right.
How are they going to eat? How the hell are these people going to pay their bills
Well,
with only
initially,
10 billion?
They're supposed to give $100 billion, which would then grow to $500 billion over the next several years.
So the only time this has ever happened in history, every time this has happened through history, where the rich got this rich and the poor, minimum wage $7.25 still legally,
Still.
still. That's been what 30 years of that. The richest 5 or 6 people own 50% of the wealth in America right now. So when this has happened in the past, what doesn't go well is the economy. What ends up happening is everything crashes so hard that we end up for a decade or two get put into a nightmare. We were very lucky in 2008 because President Obama came in, and President Obama made some quick moves, very, very, very deft moves that actually say, and it still took 3 years to come back. Trump comes in, fucks the entire economy up, fucks us in the thing. And then Biden comes in and it takes him 3 years to get it back. He has now handed Trump a beautiful economy. Inflation is 2.9%, which is statistically normal. He handed him the supply chain is fixed. Everything an infrastructure program. He handed him, they for 16 months or 18 months, they worked on the ceasefire for Israel and they got it done. And what I'm saying is that we are in a situation right now where we are guys, we're heading towards a very bad day. Oh, sorry. We had a bad. Sorry. We've had the bad day.
Yeah. I mean, on Tuesday, after he signed all of these 50 executive orders, he then pardoned every January 6th
I was
criminal,
Armageddon update, yeah.
as well as I know that. We
No, I just
all
wanna make
know you did an Armageddon update.
I couldn't cover all of it. He
I
said
was
that. He goes,
just let me finish a sentence for the love of all that is holy. On Tuesday,
go ahead.
after signing all
Continue.
of these executive orders and pardoning all of the January 6th criminals, he also signed a pardon for that Ross William guy that created the dark web marketplace, Silk Road.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
Wait.
OpenAI's CEO, his last name is Altman.
Sam Altman.
Then responded to Elon on X.
Oh no.
And very snarkily says, "Wrong, as you surely know. Want to come visit the first site already underway? I realize what's great for the country isn't always what's optimal for you and your companies, but in your new role, I hope you'll mostly put America first." So there's already stuff going on. Day 3.
But we're day 3. So can we go back to
this episode brought to you by Lumen.
Damn it, let me finish. She interrupted me.
No, because
You
I
should
kept
interrupt me.
waiting for an opening when we were going on and on.
Today, Lumen, I got up today.
You did?
The sad thing is it's become a game. So,
Yes.
right? We all
Yes.
use it. We all
Yes.
use Lumen.
Yep.
Lumen is a device that measures your breath and
Your
tells
metabolic
you
health.
metabolic health through your breath, and and it's very weirdly enough very accurate. Sometimes you don't like what it says.
Nope.
Yep.
And I've
And
it's all become a video game for us.
it makes you look at what you did the night before
Yes,
it
that
definitely
has
does.
given you this different number that you don't like
Right.
because you never want to do it again.
You blow through it, you're like, all right, how's today going to go?
Yep.
Shit.
It has an amazing ability
And
to
also
make
I go-
me feel like shit.
Or feel great. I got a 2.
Oh, great. Yes.
I got a 2 this morning. I was like 2.
Yes.
I was so guys. What it has done is I've lost 7 pounds on it, and all it does, and it just kind of lets you know. Listen, here's where your body is right now, and what it does is it'll
Scale of 1 to 5, burning fat, burning all carbs, or somewhere in between.
and then it adjusts. So it also adjusts your food, so you can see how many carbs, how much fat, and how much protein you're going to eat. And what it does is, there's days sometimes it gives me so much carbs. I'm like, why is it trying to make me fat? Newman gotten jealous, is trying to not let me see other people, other devices, and then I realized. So I did that one day. Did you ever get a really high carb day and you do your best?
If you wake up in a state of fat burn 4 days in a row, then you get a carb load day.
And then what happens is that here's what it did to my metabolism. It changed my metabolism because in the past had I ate 250 grams of carbs, I would have been like, the next day I'm 7 pounds heavier, and I'm going, can I get some more pancakes? Well, what happened was I lost 2 pounds.
Yeah.
And because it was training my body to burn fat. So it's not just something that measures you. It actually, it's the whole program itself starts after you keep doing it. It reads what you're doing. And it says, okay, here's how I'm going to change your metabolism. So then you're burning all the food you eat efficiently, and it lets you know how much you can eat of carbs, protein, and fat. And
then
honestly,
you can get away with so much more. Once
that's
you
what I
get
noticed.
into this higher state of metabolic health, you find that you can cheat.
yes,
Like we would go to In-N-Out, still enter it as our food,
Right.
but think like, oh God, I always gain like 4 pounds the next day and lose weight the next day.
Yeah,
it's surreal. It's the world's first handheld metabolic coach.
It's also a nice way to.
that's metabolic coach. That's what it is. It changes it.
Yeah, and you can't. You don't know what your body's doing. You think you know, but then you
Yes.
breathe through and like, oh shit, I'm on.
Yes.
But it's also like this nice added motivator for workouts because after you enter in a workout,
Yes.
you bump up your
You get
carbs,
more carbs
you're
and
like,
protein.
yes.
So
Yes.
just to go with the other one, mine's connected to Fitbod.
Oh, really?
Mine
Mine's connected
too,
to Fitbod.
yeah.
So I get done working out with it, and I look at my my Lumen at the end of the day, and it's added 45 carbs,
Look,
45 grams of
we
carbs.
didn't-
I'm cookies. I'm on cookies.
We didn't link them. We just both started to notice that it automatically
Wow.
connected
automatically
to
did it.
Peloton, to the Apple Health, and to Fitbod.
Yep.
It's kind of terrifying,
So
actually.
it's tracking. It's not just tracking, what you're eating.
So I don't know. Wait, can I say this really
Yeah.
fast before you say that? I don't know that we explain this as well. You use the app. You measure in the morning. First thing I think is the most important measurement. But you can measure throughout the day too to see what meals do. He was a 2 today. He's very happy about that. I don't think he's ever been a 1 though.
I have to.
So how often?
3 times
Okay.
in the
That
4
you
months
know,
I've
yes.
used it. Yeah.
But then
Same.
it gives you a tailored diet program. It tells you how many macros you can have, carbs, protein, fat, how many grams of those. Then it gives you a place to enter your food, and it tracks your food for you so that you become more aware of the thing that blew my mind is how many carbs are in sweet things. You
Even
only
fruit.
think about
Pumpkin
carbs when it
spice
comes
latte?
to breads or chips. Or
I now
whatever.
know that a grande pumpkin spice latte has 52 grams of
A
carbs
week's
in
worth.
it.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I can't have this ever again.
Yeah.
You don't. He stopped. And so, whereas I always wondered before why I would think I was doing really well and why am I not losing weight? Now you know why. You have it. It's like my fitness competition coach is actually in my pocket.
You were always thin, but you're really thin now.
No, I have a lot of people in my pocket.
What is happening?
You in the
So
Supreme
guys,
Court.
guys,
Yeah.
Lumen, it works, and if you really want to track what you're doing, the great thing about it, let's say you got your phone right, and instead of having when she says enter, I got to enter this food. When I first got it, it was kind of a thing. So what I have is on my camera, you can let's say you're eating today.
Yeah, you don't have to enter it.
Today I had a magic spoon. I had a protein bar to open up this morning, and I just took my camera, I put it on the UPC code, and it entered all the macros instantly.
And they added, since we started with them, where you can actually take a picture of your dinner plate with all
Right.
the foods on
Yeah,
it.
that's amazing.
It's
And
insane.
AI will read it.
Yes,
Yeah.
reads it and estimates the macros.
We're
in it.
living in a magic time.
Take the
man.
next step to improving your health. This thing is insane. I say it all the time. Changed my life. Go to lumen.me/Titus. You'll get 20% off of your Lumen. That's lumen.me/Titus. You'll get 20% off your purchase. Thank you, Lumen. We love these.
Just so
silly
you know,
things.
when we do, I hear us doing ads sometimes, and you can always tell when we love something because
Yeah.
it becomes part of
It's
the
not even
show.
an
It's
ad.
not even an ad.
Yeah.
Really. We're just like, here's what I'm doing with this. Are you guys doing it?
He designated cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
I don't have a problem with that one.
That triggers the Alien Enemies Act.
That gives him
The ability
license
to go into Mexico with a
Yes.
war.
as with the
God
war
dang.
machine.
No.
That's what that is.
No, we're so fucked.
Because we already have. You've seen Sicario.
So
We already have-
that means he gives. Wait a minute. Oh, that's a miss. I take what
That's
I said
what it
back.
is.
So now that gives him the right to send troops into Mexico.
Just
What's he going to do about Canada? Because he was talking about Canada. What's he going to do? Hey, maple syrup is evil.
Terrorist.
We need the
Obesity is a terrorist.
Maple syrup terrorist.
Under that law, the Alien Enemies Act,
They have hockey sticks. We have to attack them.
Yeah.
the president could authorize the arrest, relocation, or deportation of any male over the age of 14 who came from a designated foreign enemy country. It also provided legal protections for those that were subject to the law.
So in our Constitution, it actually says that we have the right to take down the government if the government does no longer serve the people. I will say this. We are in a place right now in America that I never thought we would be in. And just so you know, guys, we're 3 days in. Everything he said he was going to do, he's lied about. The Ukraine war was supposed to be over in 1 day. Do you remember?
Yesterday.
It was Ukraine war was supposed to be over yesterday.
Yeah.
It's not over. He said about prices. I'm going to bring prices down. He said, once prices are up, I can't bring them down after he got elected. He also said that inflation was so high. Well, inflation is Biden just said, here's 2.9%, which is statistically average normal inflation. The man lied about everything. He said they were eating the pets. They were eating the dogs and cat.
How did he win after that?
Just so you know,
seriously,
because people are dumb as shit.
Yes.
I watched a video yesterday where one of those guys, there's a crew of guys from Midas Touch and Occupy Democrats that go to the Trump rallies and they interview Trumpers. And he said, he goes, what do you hate most about the Trump organization? Is it DEI? He goes, yeah, DEI, man. He goes, okay, what does DEI stand for? And you just watch the blank.
Oh.
And I'm not saying it because it could have been anecdotal. He could have interviewed one guy. He did 7 people, and not a single one of them could name what DEI stood for.
Not even the acronym.
Nope, not even the acronym. On top of that, he asked one guy. He goes, all right. So he goes, why do you like President Trump? And he goes, because he did what he said he was going to do the first time. And he goes, okay, what did he say he was going to do that he did the first time? And this guy's being dead honest. He's not being a jerk. He's just asking. Tell me what he did. Said he was going to do that he did. And you watch this redneck bumpkin blank out and go, you know what he said? And he looks at another redneck and he goes, help me out here, Phil.
Oh.
And the guy just goes, man, I don't know.
Holy shit.
So we have a country of morons that has decided that because this guy's a moron and he's a billionaire, I can be like him. But the grift that he has to do to become this billionaire, he's been bankrupt 6 times. He couldn't sell steak, vodka, or water. Also, he started a Bitcoin, and he has already made $2 billion. So you have a president that is grifting you for money. He's made $2 billion on his Bitcoin. And these people don't see that as a crime. They don't see that he's using his power as a crime. They see it as, if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
I feel like the worst part of it is we got 4 more years of...
He's going to leave. Babe, Ken thinks he's going to leave in 4 years.
No, I'm saying...
What do you think
at least. We have at least 4 more years
at least.
of...
Yeah.
Not only we're not going to make progress on climate change, it's going to be accelerated. So that's one.
Snow in Florida today, and if California burned in January.
He's reversing some climate actions that we were taking.
We pulled out of the Paris Accords, which means we're not even globally part of it. We're a joke globally. You should see the headlines around the world.
We're also for at least 4 more years of never getting universal health care that everybody in the country wants.
Can't do that. We can't have universal health care because the pharmaceutical companies are paying him to not give us health care. Go ahead.
At least 4 more years of still no improved gun safety laws.
Nope. Two people were killed at a school in Nashville today.
So things are going to accelerate in the wrong direction. Yes. And the income inequality is going to increase. So the robber barons, which are, these the tech people.
Musk, Zuckerberg, Bezos. Yeah.
But Biden's the deep state.
Right. Biden's the deep state. We might have a revolt, like an
surrounded by all the richest people.
And I've said this before. The deep state is the dumbest, lamest.
That's what I said, because he's still alive.
He's a president again.
He's walking around. He's reelected. He's not in jail. Yeah. One thing I don't like all throughout these orders, the phrase blah, 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 that promote a unified American identity.
Wow.
That's at the end.
That's an Orwellian phrase and a half.
Yes.
Wow. Really? Wow.
Cue Elon's gesture.
That is one order that says to require within 30 days the Attorney General, Secretary of State, and others to, here's the quote, evaluate the adequacy of programs designed to ensure the proper assimilation of lawful immigrants into the U.S. and recommend any additional measures that promote a unified American identity. That was an executive order.
Can anybody answer? I'm really curious.
Can you read the one on electric cars too?
Mm-hmm.
What the impact of immigrants in our society was really having negatively. What was the negative
It
impact?
wasn't. If you don't have a social security number, this is the lie. If you don't have a social security number, you can't get any government assistance.
Exactly.
You
But they
have
pay
to-
into it.
You also can't. Well, you have to work under the table. So that's why those guys are hanging out at Home Depot. So there's their illegal immigration, here, but they don't want to commit crimes because they're going to get deported instantly. So what they do is they keep a very low profile. The other side of that is the anecdotal information where one commits a crime and they rapes a girl and that gets all over the news. The one guy. Do you notice it wasn't hordes? It was always one or two stories. So the facts are, the crime stats are, immigrants, illegal or not, commit crime at about half the level of people that are born here. Mm-hmm. And I say in my new show, I can prove that because whenever they catch a guy with a refrigerator or the head in his refrigerator, it's not a guy named Hernandez. It's a guy that looks like me.
Yeah, who has a Hernandez in it.
So the statistics back up zero, he says. Yeah. But you have to remember what Trump does. Trump will always, and he does it from Hitler's playbook. He really does it. He finds that Hitler pointed out the Jews. Your problems aren't because you're an idiot, aren't because you didn't go to school. Your problems of why you're poor, because you're a German. It's not, it's those people right there.
Yeah, scapegoats.
So that's what Trump did. He said, your problem is those people. They're taking your jobs. And again, I say, if a Mexican immigrant is taking your job mowing a lawn, if that's taking your job, then you fucked up. Someone else pointed this out. One more thing, and then I'll go. Stanhope, there's a great version of it. But here's what I'll say. Someone pointed out to me that if someone took your job, if a Mexican took your job, it's not the Mexican's fault. It's the fault of the company that didn't want to pay you. The American company that's making profits in America didn't want to pay you a living wage.
Exactly.
The boss of that company said, fuck you, I'm going to hire that guy for $3 an hour. Yep. And I'm going to pay him under the table so I don't have to pay taxes, so I don't have to pay Social Security, so thing. So this comes down to these corporate assholes who decide that my profit needs to be higher than it already is. We have record profits. Biden gave corporations record profits for the last 4 years. Record profits.
So immigration is a grossly exaggerated problem to the point that it's a lie.
He had to say eating. Here's how grossly it's again. He couldn't give stats at the debate. He had to say they're eating the dogs and the cats. They're eating the pets that live there. That's what he said. He didn't say, here's where immigration is ruining the economy of America. Right. The entire economy of America thrives because when you tell me a group of people plays $7 trillion into the economy, because they come over here with a dream and they start their own businesses and they do what they can and they bust their ass for immigration. And look, I don't listen. The immigrants that are here that I know that came from other countries that are working the base level jobs, the ones that we know bust their ass.
I wish there's got to be like a pie chart that we can find of like the U.S., the issues facing the U.S., of where immigration, the problem of immigration, what slice of the entirety of the U.S. and its issues, good and bad, how much is that really an impact? And the fact that
11 million estimated illegal immigrants in the U.S.
How many?
11 million.
Right. About
44% of those live in states with sanctuary laws that limit cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. U.S. has the largest number of illegal immigrants in absolute terms when compared to other countries, but also leads proportionally. 22% of all immigrants estimated in America lack legal status.
Of immigrants, 22% of immigrants.
20% of
estimated.
immigrants. Got it.
Okay, so 80% are legal.
So okay, yeah. Well, 78%. Let's don't fudge it. Let's like you woke libtard. Go ahead. Fudge it the other way. Yeah.
I do think that our immigration system is broken. I do think I am not as woke as they are, and I do think that it certainly has issues, as evidenced by the fact that no Republican or Democrat has been able to fix it in the last however many decades, even though everybody says they will.
Let's go back to Reagan. Reagan,
I know that you say this almost
the
every
most,
week.
the most, one of the most right wing presidents. Part of the reason that we don't have real news
Did
anymore.
you just interrupt me again?
I just want to remind. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, babe. I'm telling you. I just want to say Reagan actually gave 11 million immigrants amnesty. You know, because he understood. There's a great quote I do in the thing. Reagan said that if we cut off immigration in this country, we would lose our leadership in the world.
He also said that if there was an alien threat, the world would be a safer place.
I was actually I was making a point not doing stats anymore. I was starting to say that I wasn't as woke as either of you were in that, but it's fine. We can move on. As far as trade, business, and the economy, he does a whole bunch of tariff executive orders. He is saying that he plans 25% on Canadian and Mexican goods as of February 1st. He is saying he's reviewing U.S. trade dealings with China. As a candidate, Trump did threaten Chinese tariffs as high as 60%. He's going to review fentanyl flows, although certainly Biden chopped the head off of that cartel that was responsible for the fentanyl flowing into the U.S.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Yes.
Fentanyl under Biden dropped ridiculously in the last 2 years. Ridiculously.
But what also you have to consider is that it increased, right? So as fentanyl is growing and becoming the worst problem that we have and killing people, that's COVID why seizures are going to go up. You know, it's like saying border crossing seizures, you know, were higher under Biden. Well, border crossings became higher as well. Like but exporting people. What am I saying? We're not deporting. We are not exporting.
Eject button.
The number one exporter of Mexicans is the U.S.
I think I'm smarter than I hear myself and realize you're not smart at all.
He paused the ban on TikTok for 75 days.
Which is a national security issue.
He's banning U.S. government officials from pushing social media companies to combat misinformation and disinformation. He's basically hands off. No more telling social media companies that they have to do that. Yep. He withdrew us from Paris Climate Agreement, which is nutty.
Again.
Snowed in Florida.
He declared a national energy emergency. This is another one of those that gives him wide
so drill, baby, drill.
Powers.
Got it.
Can I interrupt one more time?
You can interrupt these, but it's points where I'm in mid-sentence making a point. That's
it's where.
Yeah.
These are just bullet
I apologize.
points.
I'm a little amped up. We produced, under the Biden administration, we produced the most oil and gas than we ever have in the history. As a matter of fact, under Biden, we became the number one oil producer in the world, above Saudi. Go ahead.
By declaring it a national emergency. It urges federal use of eminent domain and the Defense Production Act, which allows the government to commandeer private land and resources to produce goods that are deemed to be a national necessity.
Oh no.
Everything is what we're saying. Yep. Everything is an emergency or an invasion.
Yep.
And it takes away all
protections.
A lot of this is seizure of private resources.
Holy shit.
Yep. Compelling the Army Corps of Engineers to use to the fullest extent possible its emergency permitting provisions to speed energy projects and to make all agencies use similar emergency procedures that would expedite or bypass permitting processes, which would fall under the Endangered Species Act, as well as other federal laws that would protect wildlife.
Can I tell you guys what happens when you don't have any regulations? So I went to Iraq when the troops were over there, and I performed for the troops. I spent 15 days or 10 days, whatever it was. And we got to go see the buildings that they had built. And we went to Saddam's palace. Now, this is the guy with all the money in the world that could do what he wanted at the time. And as we're walking down the hallways of these marble slabs, like 4-foot marble slabs all over the place, I kept seeing stuff missing. Mm-hmm. And I kept going, what happened? Is this from the war? And they go, no, it's just built so bad that sometimes the guys that had taken over the palace, the troops that had taken over the palace, they don't let them stay there in certain parts of it because it just shit. These
chicken wire.
These 200-pound or 500-pound slabs would just come off the walls. And I looked in the wall. It was just barely framed chicken wire and glued to chicken wire. That's what happens when you do what this man's doing. Sorry, go ahead.
This episode brought to you by HelloFresh.
Yay!
I told you guys, all three of these go together so well for your New Year's resolutions. HelloFresh is a service that gets delivered. It's a box that comes to your door, and based on what you chose, how many people, how many meals per week, each meal is pre-portioned ingredients in its own bag, so that when you're ready to cook that one thing, you just pull that bag out, scan the QR code for the recipe, or they give you full color cards that I keep because I make
recipes are so good.
stuff over again.
I wallpaper my kitchen with those.
Yeah, and then he
laminated-
just throws a dart because that's how you can throw a dart because everything we've gotten is good.
Everything's good.
We've never cooked any of these bags and went no,
Never.
Even the
Not
pre-packaged
I'm
stuff.
always shocked.
Yes,
Yeah.
In fact, I was just at brunch with Jen and my niece on Sunday, and somehow we ended up talking about HelloFresh. And Jen was also saying how insane it is that even things that you were like, I don't usually eat that. I wouldn't make a pork burger or
Those
whatever.
were so good.
Oh my gosh, you guys have to try this just to see what you're missing. So you can go each week and choose your meals. I think it's from like 40 or 50 choices that don't do it when you're hungry. Or they select them. If you don't do that, they select some of their best ones. We have done both ways. We have never been disappointed. We do 4 people 3 times a week.
Yep.
Because then he and I eat, and then we have leftovers the next day. Ken doesn't, because Ken eats all 4 people's
It was
portions and
because
serves
his
it on a
lumen
frisbee.
told him this is how many carbs and protein.
I'm going to ignore my lumen the next day.
They have prep and bake meals also that come together with minimal mess and take 5 minutes of prep. They have 15-minute meals that just take 3 steps. Some of those are insane. Those
for what
Little egg
for
bite
what
things.
comes out of it. Yes.
No, the 15-minute meals, like
Yep.
the 3-step
Oh, yeah,
on
the
the
3-step.
card, like
Yes.
the ones that were kind of like In-N-Out burgers, but lettuce wraps. Do you remember those with the sauce? Oh, those were silly.
It was insane. You want to talk about a guilt-free In-N-Out burger? That's
Yeah,
what those
yeah,
were
yeah,
because
yeah.
it was wrapped in lettuce. That was so good.
They now have over 100 add-on items. So when we first started using HelloFresh, they didn't have this. Now they do. And that's what you were talking about. The egg bites, the pretzel bites, the dumplings.
The dumplings, yeah.
Ridiculous. The egg rolls. It's like they have so many. Oh, the bake at home bagels. Have you ever tried
I don't think I
those?
tried those.
You get a whole bag. It's just ridiculous. I'm hungry right now. So you can go. Also, you don't have to go to the grocery store. That's the other thing I wanted to say. It comes to you every week and you can pause it or cancel it or whatever at any time, but it just takes all the guesswork out, which I hate now, is deciding what to make for dinner, and I don't have to leave my house. So you can get up to 10 free meals and a free high protein item for life at HelloFresh.com/Titus10FM. That's 1 item per box with your active subscription. Free meals applied as a discount on your first box. New subscribers only, varies by plan. So that's up to 10 free HelloFresh meals. All you have to do is go to HelloFresh.com/Titus10FM, which you pointed out last week stands for free meals, and I didn't get that. America's #1 meal kit. You gotta go try it. It's stupid.
Let's keep going with what these because he did this on day 1, which means executive orders are not laws. Executive orders are not something that we have to follow. So now, but what he did was, and it's weird because when you think about it, the plan continued. So his first year, he had a plan, right? He didn't really enact it. It didn't go through because of, I think, COVID. He screwed up COVID so bad. I think people are like, I don't want this guy anymore. What I want to point out that Biden fixed everything so fast, from the supply chain to food in stores. Stores were dead ass empty when Trump was president. Dead ass empty. And Biden changed that in about 6 months, and it was all back to normal. And it turned around so fast. And that took 50 years of his experience in government, that people forgot where we were. Troops were attacking protesters in Washington, D.C. We had riots because of George Floyd where Trump didn't do anything. We had Charlottesville where he said Nazis are good people. We can go down the whole list. I could do the whole thing, injecting disinfectant. We can go down the whole thing. But because Biden turned it around so fast, and then Biden again, here's their mistake. We go, we have to honor the norms. We don't need to brag about what we do. We just got to do it. No, you got it, because people are stupid now and they have the internet and there's so much misinformation and disinformation that you need to scream from the mountaintops every day.
Yeah.
And so now we're back. And on day one, he basically violated the Constitution with the birthright citizenship. He's violated the Constitution on asylum. That's flat out against the Constitution.
He's reversing all climate change initiatives.
Right. So, which is going to make your kids dead. Keep going.
He's asking all agencies to submit within 30 days. They can say anything that they deem burdensome to domestic energy production.
Again, so vague.
Here's some gnarly shit, man. He has streamlined, this was one order, fossil fuel extraction in Alaska with a command to rescind, revoke, revise, amend, defer, or grant any exemptions from any and all regulatory actions in that state. Specifically, that means he's restoring all suspended fossil fuel leases within the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. He's also at the same time denying a pending U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service request to create an indigenous sacred site within their Arctic National Wildlife Refuge.
So the people we stole the country from, he's not going to let them even have their own little.
All these animals.
They don't get a rest stop.
Yeah. You know the regulations thing. You know those like buildings. Machine shops or whatever they'll have days since accident.
Yeah.
Every single one. It's going to be to 1.
Just imagine this: all the regulations when somewhere has a big quake.
Yep.
He's
Turkey. Remember when Turkey had a quake and 4,000 buildings
restoring
fell
all
over.
the hunting and trapping and national preserves in Alaska. Alaska's getting mother effed. He's making the outer continental shelf ineligible for wind energy leases.
So the one place where you could actually
He's re-engaging a legal and regulatory battle with California's state government over water routes from Sacramento, San Joaquin Delta. He was
He was very upset about that. Yeah, he was very upset about that.
He'll be
He
here
made
Friday,
up
though.
a thing.
Yeah,
there was no such.
He said he goes. Gavin Newsom wouldn't sign the Water Reclamation Act. We talked about this last week. Just so everybody knows, I live in California. We live in California. There was no Water Reclamation Act. It was never a piece of legislation. Wasn't written down. Didn't get banned. It
Gavin
never
said that.
was.
One of his better lies, because it sounds kind of real.
He gave it a name.
He gave it a good name.
Yeah.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the bigly beautiful.
Yeah. Reclamation.
And all that
It's like 4 syllables.
he's doing there, we have fish and wildlife protection efforts in effect in California.
Right.
And he apparently doesn't like that. He gives executive branch departments and agencies 60 days to eliminate DEI programs,
So that means
including all jobs associated with it.
Well, the thing about this is that the DA program,
Women, am I right?
and black people and Mexican people, they've had it so well for so long.
We had a woman fire chief.
He
We can't have
also-
that.
We can't. So
Look at all the fires.
Lesbian world
He
fighter.
also
Jesus
wants he's requiring all departments and agencies to give an accounting of all DEI efforts they have ever made, including names of DEI contractors and DEI grant recipients.
Like, why? What the fuck is the fucking
A
harm?
separate OMB memo
I'm
puts
sorry.
all
I'm sorry.
those.
Let's put Elon Musk right here. Why? Ask why again. Say why.
Why?
That's why.
He put all federal DEI officers on immediate leave pending their termination.
Yeah, he fired him. Anybody who was in charge of a program that made sure that there was enough. Did you see that Stanford has half the black applicants were accepted in last year? Half.
He repealed all Biden-era directives on racial and ethnic equity and LGBTQ rights. Some of those ensure equitable distribution of federal money, prevent government discrimination based on gender identity and sexual orientation, White House educational initiatives for Native Americans, Hispanics, and Black Americans, and inside of that, the order expressly allowing transgender people to serve in the military, that's gone. He has not yet banned them again like he did the first time, but he has just repealed that. He has paved the way now to do that again.
You know what? It has never in my entire lifetime been more aptly named the White House.
Yeah.
It should be the White Man House.
Yeah.
He's required the government to recognize 2 genders only on all passports.
Again, thank God. Thank God. That was the whole problem with America.
Right.
Thank God.
That's huge on that pie chart.
Man, you know what? That's why eggs are now 5 cents.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why, because he made sure that was that no one could be what they want to be. Awesome.
That's why we can't get universal health care.
Right.
Because you have to choose the thing. I got it.
Yeah, how many there's no way we can make this work.
He's dissolved the White House Gender Policy Council and repealed the Department of Education guidelines on Title IX.
What's Title IX?
Transgender rights. He's forbidding federal money, including grants, from being used to promote gender ideology. He has directed the Attorney General and Homeland Security to ensure that males are not detained in women's prisons or housed in women's detention centers.
That's not a thing. That's actually not a thing. It's actually not a thing.
I'll sign me up for that.
Do you guys know? But just so you guys know, the trans population of America is less than 1%.
Exactly. It's fucking tiny.
It's. I mean, 1% would be 3 million people. It's like 0.0175. It's like it's literally 100,000 people maybe, and he had to write executive orders. That's the first thing. Why? Explain to me, either one of you. Can you explain to me why these white men are so offended and scared of people just trying to live their lives the way they want? What is going on in their brains that they can't just be, that they have to think about how these people do and have sex? What is wrong with people?
Is this
I don't
catering to the, how there's like, they call it the family.
You can't call yourself a Christian. You can't call yourself a Christian anymore if you believe any of this shit.
No, they're not real.
You don't get to call yourself a Christian.
But
anymore.
there's a big I think it's called the family, but it's like a Christian evangelical group that kind of secretly runs a lot of Washington for years, for decades.
Is it? Focus on the Family?
Is that what it's called?
Focus
they do the.
There is a group called Focus on the Family.
They do. Who does the prayer breakfast? That group, the people behind that. Anyway,
is it? It could be Focus on the Family, or is it the Copelands? That scary
maybe that's
guy.
it. I don't know. We'll have to.
By the way, that jet. That's
Franklin Graham.
he was in last week.
He's terrified.
He made that jet so cheap, I just had to buy
Yeah,
it.
his fucking eyes went googly. God damn.
And there's literally a demon on his shoulder. Like, I'm a Christian.
He looks like one of those monkey dolls.
I'm skipping a lot because there's so many heinous
Too
things.
much.
There's a federal hiring freeze. He's making federal workers come back to the office. He's making it easier to fire federal workers by reinstituting an executive order from his first administration.
The DEI thing took effect so fast, Vivek got fired.
Yeah, they got rid of it
He was
before
out.
it.
He got rid of the directives that Biden put that made it easier to enroll in Medicaid, get health coverage under the ACA, and that lowered prescription drug costs.
What did he do? Say it again. I just want people to hear this.
He got rid of Biden's directives that made it easier to enroll in Medicaid, secure
Which is for low-income
insurance
people.
under the ACA, and that lowered prescription drug costs. The Trump action, however, does not actually repeal the $35 a month cap on insulin.
Guys, just so you know, this man came in, the man you voted to lead America, and he basically cut your possibility for health care. He actually cut your possibility to pay for healthcare. And then he made it so the drugs you need to survive can't be cheap.
He got rid of all orders concerning COVID-19. Oh, that's all wiped. That's gone.
Not only are we not getting universal health care, that he's making it harder to get the health care that we have.
Yes. He withdrew us from the World Health Organization.
Okay, I'm sorry. So again, scientists worldwide get together for the WHO and figure out what's killing who and where and why. Without the WHO, we wouldn't have known what was going on in China, and he pulled us out of it.
He stopped all future transfers of U.S. money to them and ordered the Secretary of State to end all negotiations on the pandemic agreement.
We just had a fucking pandemic.
Guys, do you understand? Like
Under
this,
him.
So
thanks to-
so that's just violated the oath. I want to point out he refused to put his hand on the Bible, taking the oath.
Yeah, I think that was conscious. That had to be.
So
right?
so let's just talk
Maybe
about
his
Especially
hand
when they
was.
say put your hand on the Bible
So
and repeat
we're
this.
reading this stuff, and it does sound very academic in some ways, but let's just talk about what it really means. What it really means is that if the WHO is out, that means that we are not part of or helping with trying to figure out what the next pandemic is going to be. And the next one, let's say it's not as bad as COVID. COVID is turning into a flu. Although we do know that it's damaging people, but let's say it's something fucking brutal like Ebola or something that vaporizes your insides and you shit your liver out and die. So we're out of the WHO now, which means we aren't even know what's happening worldwide now. So that puts every American in danger. Then we've got the possibility of our military going into Mexico to go after whoever he wants, which will start a war with Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. Then he's also saying that did you say
Don't forget the one where he has immediately granted a security clearance to administration officials whose background checks have not cleared.
You read my mind.
The White House counsel determines who gets the security clearance.
So we no longer
no
have
FBI background check.
So do you guys hear what you just said? No FBI background checks. That means if the White House decides someone gets a background check, they don't have to check on them. He just gives anybody top secret clearance, which again puts us in danger 1,000 different ways with every dipshit asshole criminal that wants to sell information. Because you know why he doesn't care? Because he's the one who took thousands and thousands of top secret documents, including nuclear sites, and had them in his bathroom at his...
Well, now background, that can be transactional. So
That's what
you
course.
want information?
Elon Musk is not going to clear a background check.
Mhm.
He's not going to
He
get a
had to.
top secret. There's no way.
No, he already because of the rocket stuff. He's already cleared it for real. Because
You cannot use illegal drugs recreationally and get a top secret security clearance.
he already has it now, though. He had it before before that video of him going...
No, I mean, or him on Rogan saying that he does.
Oh, when he
does
smoked weed.
ketamine, and
Well, I mean,
he's
he works with NASA. He has to have top secret. He works with NASA.
okay. He
No, I'm
also
not-
has a lot of foreign money ties, like all
Yeah,
foreign money
But
ties.
NASA pays him. I mean, NASA pays him a shitload of money.
He actually reversed Obama renaming Mount McKinley to Denali, which is what native tribes always called it.
It's
So
been
he
called that
changed
forever.
it to Denali. He rescinded that.
He also executive order changing the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America, which again, thanks for solving the problems of America. You know the one. You know that, but this is
Here's a weird one.
okay. As opposed to the other
He
ones?
personally must approve new architectural and design standards for all federal buildings so that the president can ensure that federal structures respect regional, traditional, and classical architectural heritage in order to uplift and beautify public spaces and ennoble the United States.
Do you know why?
Why?
Do you know why that? I'll tell you. That's 100% because you got to remember, we've now put in a group of white supremacists in the country. The country is now run by white supremacists. Not that it always hasn't, but I'm just saying we had Obama. Clinton was a good guy. We had, except when it comes to don't give him an aid. But remember all the controversy over taking the Confederate statues down?
Yes.
Statues.
So what he did was he basically said that anybody who wants to keep their Confederate architecture, which would include the statues, he gets to approve it.
Yeah, to keep them up. Right, exactly.
The president of the United States gets to approve any regional government buildings. I'm talking, again, we are now crossed. States
Yes,
don't have rights
yes,
anymore.
yes.
States don't have rights anymore.
He's so petty, too. He
He's
ordered
so petty.
that U.S. flags must always be flown at full staff on Inauguration Day. So
Well,
he's so mad because Jimmy Carter died. They lowered
because
the flag.
according to Stormy Daniels, even when he's at full staff, he's at half staff.
Ew.
Hey.
Come on, people.
Get a zinger in there. Come on.
Weenie Zinger. He told the AG to explore whether 37 federal prisoners who had death sentences commuted to life imprisonment by Biden could still be charged and tried with capital crimes in state courts.
And wants him to
He's
be
really
killed.
just trying to undo everything Biden did. He
And stupid
has
shit. Everybody
directed
wears
the
a red
AG
tie.
But here's
to supply states with adequate drugs to carry out lethal injection. He told the AG to seek reversals of U.S. Supreme Court precedents that limit application of the death penalty in state and federal jurisdictions. Get rid of Supreme Court precedents. Okay?
he already has. I mean,
He has directed the AG to encourage state attorneys general and district attorneys to pursue the death penalty in all possible cases.
wow.
Now,
Wow.
there's states have already sued him for these, right? He's already.
A lot of these were already in
They're
court
already in court.
before he dried the ink on them.
But
But look who the court is now.
let's do two things right now. It's always two things. Let's take this man is not this smart. So this man has not done any research. He doesn't give a shit. This man slept till 11 and ate McDonald's. He doesn't care. So there is a group of people, Bannon and these other people, that want all this stuff, that are basically setting up a government. He's a fake. Trump's too stupid to know any of this stuff. So now he signed all these orders that they prepared for him. Now, there's ones I'm sure he wanted. The Biden to listen, people. Do you understand that this man President Biden? Say what you will. Maybe you didn't like him. Good man. Good man. Loved his kids. Loved his family, and he loved us. No one stays in office for 50 years by being a fuck up. So. And even his mistakes when there's certain things he didn't sign the Women's Rights Act, whatever he didn't sign, he apologized.
Or whatever it's called.
The ERA, no, I was saying no, the Violence Against Women Act, the original one, he didn't, for some reason he voted against something in it, and he said that was wrong. Yep. You also remember he was the first one to come out for gay rights in front of ahead of Obama, and Obama was pissed about that. So I just want you to know, the man, say what you will, he's a good man. To actually hate so much that this guy who did turn the economy around, to make that about you
Petty.
is so small and so petty. He's smaller than his penis is, and that's small, according to Jimmy Kimmel and Stormy Daniels. So you've got this guy.
Jimmy Kimmel seen it?
Jimmy Kimmel. No, didn't you see the bit that Jimmy Kimmel did with Stormy Daniels?
No.
Oh, people look this up. So Jimmy Kimmel has Stormy Daniels on his show, brings out a tray with different sized mushrooms on it. It's all mushrooms and they're all different shapes and sizes. And she actually picked out the one. She goes, "This is what it looks like."
Like a police lineup.
You gotta stop talking about it. I'm very visual. I just like a little tiny porcini. But I have
The
to
poisonous kind.
picture him naked at the same time, and it's
Little tiny
really hard.
porcini.
Hey, I got a porcini.
He got a little tiny porcini. Look at this guy.
It's my weenie. It's a porcini. And then a lot of vague things, giving the Attorney General power to identify weaponization of the federal government against his supporters, and then to recommend actions for that, remedial actions. Same with social media during Biden's tenure, remedial action recommendations. Revoke the security clearances of 50 people that Trump accuses of helping Biden's campaign via their collective public statements about a laptop.
He also canceled
He canceled John Bolton's security detail that Biden gave him because
Iran. I didn't know. I thought you were asking.
It's
but
the
every
when.
2 words you say different words to help me. I'm not dumb. I don't need help.
You are not dumb.
Thank you. Holy shite. It's going to be a long 4 years. He canceled his security detail because there was a plot to kill him from Iran. And so Biden gave him Secret Service and detail. And the day that Trump got in office, he rescinded that. Yeah. And then took security clearances of all these top level people like James Clapper, Leon Panetta. John Bolton lost his security clearance too. He also directed the director of national intelligence and the CIA director to submit a report for disciplinary action against people in the intelligence community or anyone who works for or within it from inappropriately influencing domestic elections. So see how vague that is? So if we deem this as, you interfered, the earlier one, if we think it was weaponization of the federal government, then
Open definition.
yes.
This is some fucking
Do you
ancient
remember-
Rome shit.
But here's the thing, guys. We talked about this. Everybody, except for, I will say that except for the mainstream media who made this, what's he going to do? He's just going to be president. They kept talking about him like he was going to be a normal president. And on day one, he did everything we said he was going to do. He basically, they said he's going to be an authoritarian, and no one believed it. They can't happen in America. Well, it just happened.
And he didn't do everything that he said he was going to do on day one.
And so what has happened is we had this man here. Let me. This is a perfect example of who Biden was. So John Bolton, who talked smack about Democrats and the Democratic administrations, and talked some shit about Biden. Once Joe Biden found out that John Bolton had an assassination attempt planned for him by another country, he gave him Secret Service protection so he wouldn't be assassinated.
Even though Bolton has gone on news outlets and spoken out against Biden's plans. Yeah.
Right. And so that's what you call a good American, because he's like, this man doesn't deserve to be killed because we have different views. And this is what bothers me about Trump supporters too. Is like, oh man, you're getting mad about politics. No, I'm not. Fuck you. You're getting mad about politics. Here's the thing. You get violently angry when we just tell you the facts. But now you want to literally end the country, and I'm pissed about that, and I'm an asshole. We're not hanging out anymore. We're done. So Biden did what an American does. And Trump has gone out of his way to not help the country, not help you and I, not help even his supporters. Even his supporters just got their health care taken away. You know, the one thing he says, I'm going to end the ACA, or I'm going to end Obamacare. And they're like, yeah. And then they go, well, I'm going to end the Obamacare, which is the ACA. They go, wait, no, I have the ACA. I'm good with it. And they don't know what they're talking about. They believe tariffs are going to help them. They're going to make China's going to pay those tariffs. But that's not what's going to happen. You pay the tariffs. And we live in the dumbest of times because since Reagan, cutting back the education. Oh, did you say he wants to end the education department? Because he said
that's not one of the orders.
That's not one of the orders. He said that in his speech. He actually put someone in there. He goes, I don't know how long you're going to have that job. He said, don't do too good of a job because I don't know how you're going to have it. He said that in one of his speeches. So the education department, which Carter started to make sure that we had a consistent American education. It wasn't to destroy you. And what he's tricked everybody into thinking is the American education system is for the elites. Well, you need to look up what elite means.
Also, that we're indoctrinating children
Right.
with gay and drag queen stuff.
And history. We're indoctrinating with history.
Oh, that's right.
We're teaching
History
them.
was
We're
dangerous. Don't want
shaming them about being white by teaching them that white people enslaved black people at a time in history.
We're not talking about as people we've evolved to the point where everybody's the same. And
I learned about slavery, and I never
felt
thought
guilty.
I was at fault for it.
Exactly.
I just certainly thought, I remember thinking that's really gross. I was young and I thought that's disgusting. I can't fathom that.
Well, how can
That's
people do that to
horrible.
each other, right?
Yeah, and that definitely left me with a thank God that's never going to happen again. Like,
Yeah.
that's awful. People were bad.
That's
I'd
because
never-
you're not somebody who kind of deep down still wants it.
Well, there's
Cue
the
Elon.
thing.
Yeah. You're going to do it again.
The-
right here. By the way, people keep saying that's an awkward gesture. It's not an awkward gesture.
It's an awkward gesture if Tom Hanks did it. But if
But it would be on Saturday Night Live doing an impression of Elon. That's when it would be an awkward gesture. So my point is that we told you this was going to happen. And for you people that continue to think that this man is for you, these executive orders make your air dirtier, make your water dirtier. They
Kill animals.
They kill animals. They've actually now
endanger women's lives.
endanger women's life. Our most beautiful
Endanger gay and
trans people. Yeah.
people's lives. Endanger former cabinet members' lives.
Destroy the destroy the wildlife, destroy our lands, our government lands that we need to protect,
and the planet,
right?
And endanger people who fought to protect our lawmakers on January 6th because the Capitol was under siege. Have now endangered people like Michael Fanone, who just came. He was DC. He came in to help Capitol Police. and almost died,
Yep.
and
Had a
then
heart attack.
spoke out after being a Trump voter in 2016, spoke out about how heinous it was. And now he's had to go get protective orders
Yeah,
against
protective
all
orders.
of these Proud Boys and people that are free now.
And what has now just happened? There's two people, Enrique Tarrio and Stuart Rhodes, who were heads of anti-American terrorist organizations, militia groups, who basically, like the Boogaloo Boys, who people keep talking about. Yeah, what about all the protests set fire in Minneapolis or Milwaukee? And I said, well, it was actually the Boogaloo Boys. They pled guilty to setting that police station on fire. So
try again.
So yeah, go. But that's the problem, is that so those 1,500 criminals who were not deep stated, they were actually tried by a jury of their peers who actually, as criminals, they were criminals who committed treason, flat out traitors who committed treason against the United States of America and were trying to kill the vice president. Trump just released those people. So this is the piece of shit we currently have running our country. Now, what Ray just laid out, the damage that has just been written and signed into executive order, some of it will be stopped by the courts. But he doesn't have any. This is a man who just got away with $500 million in tax fraud. He just got away with stealing government documents that like Edward Snowden still lives in Russia. Edward Snowden should be able to come home now. Right. We've got people in jail for taking 2 documents. So he had thousands of them. He got away with
insurrection.
The insurrection. He got basically traitor against the country, and then you people elected him president again. And I got to be honest with you, man. There was a existential version of this that we talked about. There was a imaginary thing that could happen. That imaginary thing is now real, and it has been signed into law and executive ordered. This is day 2. We're on day 3 now. So I want you guys to know that we are in a situation that, and I watched the news last night, and they were just talking. They were laughing. What's her face? Who's with the crazy hair sometimes? Stephanie Rule was just laughing with Michael Steele. And Michael Steele wasn't laughing. He was angry, but she was laughing at him. And he was furious. And we're lost, man. I've never seen our country like this. We're lost. I want you guys to remember what happened last time. Last time he was so inept that we had 1 million die from a pandemic that could have been avoided had he just not closed the pandemic response teams.
Don't worry, he's done that again.
He already closed those too. He reclosed. So all the pandemic response teams that got us in trouble the first time, he reclosed them. So there is stupid after stupid. It is a list of stupid shit that is unprecedented in American history. And that's where we are as a country. I will tell you this. For many years, people said, I got to live through history. And I bet you if you asked all those World War II veterans, did you enjoy living through history? They'd have been like, fuck no. I would love to have had no history. I'd have loved to just been chilling in my house, building my hot rods and the thing, and enjoying the surf scene in California. So, guys, I don't know what to tell you. We will be here every week talking about it. And we will be here doing the Armageddon updates, giving you updates. But start calling people out, man. Do me a favor. Rachel Maddow said this. Embarrass these people. You can call your local, look it up. Just get his number, put it in your phone. Find your local congressman, your local representative. I will tell you this. I know it sounds like it doesn't work. Well, we had a problem here at the shop, and I'll tell you a little story about what happened with me. There was a city councilman that was in charge of this district where our studio is. Well, the studio for about 2 years, right? Was like a murder capital, murder haven.
Up until like a couple months ago,
there was a kidnapping. Mm-hmm. So we had a kidnapping where Clumsy got shot. Yeah. That guy got caught. Then we had a crack house on the corner after the guy who owned it died and his family took over, and it was crazy. And then another guy got shot there. That was 2. Then we had next door, they built Section 8 housing in this apartment building, and it was like a drug.
It was Breaking Bad. It was at the corner.
Yeah, and it was groups of Breaking Bad. Yeah. It was like literally like groups of, and they were walking back and forth, and drug addicts. Well, somebody died in that 8-unit apartment building, and we were here when the LAPD was there and detectives were here, and they didn't. Here's how bad it was. They didn't just kick those people out. They shut down the entire thing, cleared everybody out. And there was a pile of garbage on our street.
Oh, it was a mountain.
That was crazy. That because they got
In one
it
day.
because there was so much drugs and so much going on in that apartment building. They had to clear everything out. So I called our local city councilman and I went off on him. I went off on him. I went off on his assistant and I was telling him, I go, you're ruining my business. I go, do you understand that? I go, I'm paying taxes to keep this business. And I went off on him. Next thing I know, there's a fence built around the crack house. Everybody's kicked out of the crack house. Cops came in, kicked them all out. These guys got cleaned out. Right now, across the street at the other place where people were squatting, that's gone. They're doing earthquake retrofit. That's how they got everybody else out. So they're redoing the whole thing. And I'm not the only one that complained. So you can just do this. You're not going to have to talk to anybody anyway. Call up your local representative. I'm going to call Brad Sherman, who's our guy in Tarzana, and tell him what I think. Because we do have the right to run it.
Yeah.
We really do. We're supposed to run it. We've gotten this thing where like those people run stuff. But have you seen Lauren Boebert? Have you seen Marjorie Taylor Greene? Because guess what? You're fucking, I don't even know you and you're way smarter than they are. I know you are. So if those people can run shit and fuck it up, we can call to complain about it. Also, I think you should run for local government. If you can, school board, whatever, just do it. You can still have your job. You still live your life, but you're going to make a difference. We have now realized that the elites, they're not the people in California. They're the people who are running this fucking government. And now, because of Citizens United, Elon Musk, this is unprecedented. He gave $270 million to the campaign, and we have accepted it as normal. So the only way to fight it, the first time we kind of didn't do anything, we let it happen to us. The only thing to fight it is to not let it happen to us. Call your local representative and go crazy on the phone. Just go crazy. Just leave a message. No, don't swear. Don't get in trouble. Don't threaten. Just go, listen, this is what's happening. This isn't going to happen. You're not getting a job next time. I'm going to talk to 10 people and they're going to talk to 10 people. And that's 300 votes you're not going to get. And then those people are going to talk to 300 people. And that's another 300. You add that up, that's 30,000 votes you're not going to get next time. So you fucking get on your job for this American public.
They weren't supposed to cuss it.
Sorry, you're right. So you get on your job for the American people or you're out of a job. And
Buddy.
yeah. Buddy's never
Sport.
good. Buddy, yeah. So I'm.
He's now deployed thousands of additional active duty U.S. troops to the southern border. 2,200 currently active duty forces at the border.
How long do you think it's before they open fire
Yep.
on some families coming across the border?
Yep. It always works so well when you send military.
Do you remember?
Because that's all they know how to.
Do
That's
Do you
what they
remember? Do you remember Trump camp? We had Trump camp. Do you remember the stuff?
Yes, that's right. That's
So
right.
guys, I don't know. I'm down. I'm going to be in Birmingham.
That
was his comedy show ad. Guys,
I'm going to be in Alabama.
down. Come see me in Birmingham. Stardom Thursday night, Friday night, City Winery in Atlanta, Georgia. 2 shows.
And let's laugh
He
about
won't
it.
be down. He will be.
By the way,
laughing.
I want to thank New York City City Winery and then I want to thank the Wilbur in Boston. I had 2 smoking shows. This new show, Doomed to Repeat, which was just kind of meant as because I knew Kamala was going to win. I knew it was going to be just kind of a, hey, remember we were like this, and now it's become this thing where I'm talking about what we need to talk about. So come see the show this weekend, and do me a favor, go to ChristopherTitus.com for all the merch. Scared Scream Sanity shirts are out there. Quit being weird. Some of this stuff needs to be said all the time, and
you could just call your show 1985.
you know, man, I'm not. You guys wrap up today. I'm not gonna wrap up.
You could just. Where are you going, Tiger? Sport.
Somebody has to pee.
Oh, he has to tinkle.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Titus has to pee now. Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah.
Do 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 do.